Join us on Offsides Week 3. We're going to be talking about some of the NFL action that occurred, and we're also going to be talking about some of the ratings of quarterbacks, who you like, who you don't think is going to be the quarterback to take them farther to the playoffs, to the Super Bowl. We're going to talk about also the 0-3 teams. Who is going to come out of this, and who is actually going to stay in the doghouse. We got Rolf back from special assignment, okay? We got myself, Mike, with the worst hairstyle to date, and we have Randy over here as usual. So,
with the same hair that I've had for 3 weeks.
We are going to go and talk about some of the games real quick. And the first game, Green Bay versus Cincy. Now, what did you guys see in this game? I mean, thinking about how Green Bay should be dominating, I believe on paper at least. They had a couple injuries in the game, right?
Yeah. The defense still looks like crap.
Defense is still,
I don't know if I should
still weak. It's still weak.
The defense is disappointing, maybe.
Okay.
That would be the word.
But their offense is supposed to be stellar. You got Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. He had a rough week.
I mean, just not.
Every quarterback has a bad week at some point, I think.
Turnovers, though? Turnovers.
Yeah, he had 2 interceptions. We fumbled it twice, I think.
Fumbled twice. One got ran for a touchdown, I think.
Yeah, the last one. And then they released the return man. So after that,
not looking good. Not looking good over there.
No.
Cincy, great win for them. That's huge, especially in that division. That's huge. They look at the Colts and Niners. Wow.
I would say that right now, Skip Kaepernick is still playing for Colin.
I mean, seriously.
What happened to him? Where'd he go? He's 2 weeks he's been gone. He had the 1 week against, the Packers defense.
Yeah, that doesn't count because he played against the Packer defense.
The Packers defense, if you're a quarterback.
They must be 1-2 now, I think.
They are 1-2.
Wow, that's pretty rough.
Does this mean the Colts, though, are better than we thought? Or because, the Colts lost, to the Dolphins at home.
But the Dolphins have beat everybody so far.
I still don't believe in the Dolphins. I don't care what anybody says. Miami, I don't believe in your team. But I like the Colts. I like Andrew Luck. Colin Kaepernick, I don't know what happened to this poor guy. And what about that Niners defense? It's supposed to be one of the best feared defenses in the NFL right now. It's giving up bunches and bunches of points.
Right.
Is this going to be their MO for the whole season?
It could be.
Losing to good teams, and they can only beat bad defenses.
Well, you got Alden Smith with his 15th DUI or something like that, so he's probably going to be
12th.
12th DUI. Sorry.
He hasn't got the baker's dozen yet.
So he won't be there. So you're already going to make it.
He won't be there for a month.
And then their running game, Frank Gore, not doing much of anything.
Kendall Hunter's not doing anything.
Even Kaepernick running isn't doing anything.
It looks like everyone has it figured out, which is crazy. Which is so crazy.
I won't say that everybody's figured that out. I'll just say that maybe Kaepernick is still, this is his, 9th and 10th starts, or maybe 11th, 10th
Something
or 11th.
like that, yeah.
So he's still a young quarterback. He still doesn't have a ton of experience.
Okay.
I won't say everybody's figured him out, because as soon as we say that, the next game against the Rams, he'll throw for 350 and run for 100.
It should be possible against the Rams.
It should be possible.
Right?
But he's not going to catch anybody off guard anymore.
He's not. You're not going to be surprised by Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Now, Giants, Panthers.
Yikes.
Really? Giants.
I don't know what happened to the Giants all of a sudden.
The Panthers look like this stellar team, and they're not. I'm sorry.
No.
Cam Newton, he is hot and cold. He's not consistent, but all of a sudden they look good. D'Angelo Williams ran over 100 yards rushing. He hasn't done that in a while. Cam Newton, threw for a couple touches, ran for a couple touches.
The Giants look like one of the worst teams in the NFC. It's crazy.
Well, they said that the Carolina Panthers had scored 30 points combined in their first 2 games, scored 38 against the Giants.
38.
Yeah.
And shut them out.
And shut them out.
They didn't get 8 points.
That is really bad when you can't even put a field goal on the board against a team that last year was, 6-10, 4, what were they?
Yeah, it's because they didn't give it to David Wilson enough.
They probably should have given it to David Wilson a lot
seriously.
more. Because I think the Carolina Panthers defense could have gotten in on some touchdowns there.
Well, you bring up a good thing with the Giants. The running game,
it's
nothing. It's not there.
No,
and you're seeing that, as we talked about Green Bay and Cincy. What is Green Bay missing? It is missing a running game.
Which they're picking up now.
Struggles. And so Giants, bam.
The last 2 weeks,
running game.
The last 2 weeks, the Packers have had 100-yard rushers both weeks. But
maybe Aaron Rodgers doesn't know how to deal with somebody getting a lot of yards. It's not him.
They're still 1-2.
Yeah,
they're still 1-2.
But they got the running game.
And then obviously the big one, Cleveland, Minnesota. All right. First of all, Randy and I were both on here last week. We told you we thought Cleveland was going for the number 1 pick. We don't know why. You had number 1 picks a number of years. Some haven't been able to do anything with, except for Trent Richardson. And then you ship him off.
They traded him.
And then you get rid of him. And then we put in Bobby, I'm going to throw the ball over you, Hoyer. And he gets it done. 3 touchdowns, 300 yards passing, 3 interceptions, yes, mistakes. However, they come out on top against Minnesota. What are we seeing right now? Or they just get lucky?
Seeing the end of Christian Ponder is what you see.
Minnesota took them lightly. Minnesota said what we said. This is an easy team. We should beat them just by walking onto the field.
Sure.
You were going to say last week that you could play the Minnesota cheerleaders against that Cleveland Browns. That didn't make it in.
That didn't make it in. I cut that out of the video.
Yeah, but it's like good for you. But it's like I was the one blasting this poor team saying, number 1 pick, here you come. Well, you guys blew it. Now you don't get the number 1 pick.
Yeah,
you just gave it right back to Jacksonville. Good job, guys. Good job. Now you're going to have to bundle all your first-round picks to get Jacksonville's number 1.
Now the main question I have for you guys is Cleveland now. What do you do at starting quarterback? Do you put in Weeden when he comes back, or do you run with this guy?
I think you have to. I don't think that the jury was still out on Brandon Weeden. I don't think that you can say that he was going to be a star or not going to be a star. You can't make that call yet. What's his name? Hoyer. He had 3 touchdowns, but he also had 3 interceptions. That's not great.
Right.
Well, let's wait.
You got you the win.
Yeah, but you were playing the inept Minnesota offense.
Yeah, but Adrian Peterson, stud.
Yeah, but if you focus in on Adrian Peterson, you know that Ponder's not going to beat you. The thing that's lost, Ponder did have a good game. He did play pretty well. He threw for some touchdowns.
He did.
But something happened with the Minnesota defense. Let the Cleveland Browns, the team that was supposed to get the number 1 pick, win.
What do you do?
I don't think they want it. I think Minnesota wants the number 1 pick.
What do you do with Cleveland when it's starting quarterback situation?
I keep Hoyer. in there. He's got the victory. Weeden, get rid of him. He's a 29-year-old second-year player.
And he hasn't proved himself.
He hasn't proven anything.
And he had T. Rich. I mean, this man comes in, just loses T. Rich, has pretty much next to nothing. Yes, they did get a couple wide receivers come back from suspension, and they obviously got the job done in Minnesota. That's huge. All right, so 0-3 teams we want to look at and discuss on why are they 0-3, and are they going to get out of the doghouse? All right, so Randy, what do you think? First team I have on my list is Minnesota.
Minnesota, they look like they're not going to get out of this. Christian Ponder, he's not the answer. You don't really have a backup there. So it means you guys can now try for the first pick in the draft. You're not going to get it from Jacksonville, and I thought Cleveland was going to win it. But Minnesota, you're pretty much going to be. You were a playoff team last year, but everybody is focusing in on Adrian Peterson, and they're succeeding this year.
Right, set it up, get right in front of them.
So Minnesota, you're not going to recover from this.
How about I'm going to hand this one to you, Pittsburgh, 0-3.
I want to bash
Ben Championship Roethlisberger. You'll have your shot. Ben Championship Roethlisberger, is he figuring out kind of, I need some help in order to win these games?
What it looks like to me is that team got old really fast. I don't know how it happened because they have a lot of young players on there still, but they just look like they're really old.
This underperforming.
Sanders and Brown are both young players. That LeVavian Bell or whatever his name is,
Bell.
the running back. He's of course still hurt. Roethlisberger, I think he plays like he's been in the league for 14 years, and I mean age-wise, he's hurting. He looks like he can't move like he used to, and it's because of the hits that he takes. Yeah. That offensive line is not doing him any favors.
Right.
That man, he's only been in the league, 7-8 years, but he walks and moves on the field like he's been in the league for 16 or 17, like he's just been punished.
Right.
That offense looks really inept. The defense doesn't look like it can stop anybody either. Like
there's no steel curtain.
They can't cover anybody anymore.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, losing Harrison might have been a big blow to them. I think that Harrison was.
He went to Cincinnati.
He was an intense person to have on that defense. Palomalu doesn't look like he brings any intensity to the field. He's a great player, but he doesn't really look like he's playing intensely.
Right.
I disagree. I think he is. I just don't think he has the speed to get where he used to all the time.
Gotcha. I mean, that can be true as well. I mean, he doesn't.
I think he's still an intense person, like player. But yeah.
Okay. Giants, 0-3, New York Super Bowl Giants.
I don't know what's going on there.
What is going on with Eli Manning? What is going on with the negative 3 yards average rushing, it feels like, when we watch him?
Yeah.
I mean, what is going on with
Well, right now, my
Giants?
sources tell me that the Giants are going to replace Eli Manning with Tim Tebow.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
They're looking at Tim Tebow seriously at this point.
Yeah.
It's because Eli Manning has more interceptions than touchdowns. Tebow can do that.
It's true. He can do that. So what do you think?
I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I think that we're probably overreacting a little bit. The Giants always seem to put it together at some point. They aren't going to make the playoffs at this point, not at 0-3. But Eli Manning does have 2 Super Bowl victories.
Yes.
Tom Coughlin has 2 Super Bowl victories.
Right.
And he's been there for 10 years. Maybe his message has been lost on the players. They don't respond to him the same way.
Well,
Tom Coughlin this may be the time Tom Coughlin has to leave.
There's 2 key pieces missing from those championship teams: a running game, a strong running game, and their defensive line play right now is horrible.
Yeah, the NASCAR package doesn't seem to exist
They're
anymore
not
for
getting
them.
any pressure on the
Well,
quarterback.
they brought back Jacobs. Does that help, or does it hinder them, or
It
does it do
doesn't help.
anything for them?
I don't think it helps at all right now.
You know, they lost the other running back who went to play for, let me think, the Colts, who actually run by running the ball pretty much their last game. He ran in for a touchdown. T. Rich ran, his first run was a touchdown. So the Giants, they're lacking a running game. They brought back Jacobs to hopefully get that back. Who knows if they do get that back? I don't know. But from what I'm seeing,
I don't blame the running
weak.
backs there. I think the offensive line, if you look at Carolina, they were hassling Eli Manning all day long. Even Denver was doing that.
True.
And we don't have Von Miller playing. I think right now that offensive line is their main issue. Because they cannot block for the run, they cannot block for the pass.
Just not working.
Eli Manning is not this bad of a quarterback.
Redskins.
Pass that over to him. He's the Redskin guy.
Redskins. The Redskins, RG3.
No.
Alfred Morris.
RG 0-3.
RG 0-3. Alfred
Washington
Morris.
newspaper. I like that one. It was a Washington newspaper that did that.
I mean, give me something here, Ron. What do you got?
I don't see them doing anything at this point. RG3 doesn't look like anywhere close to what he's been.
Okay. Now, what do you mean by that? What close to what he's been?
He ran the ball a little bit more this week, but he doesn't look comfortable in the pocket. He doesn't want to step into his throws. He doesn't want to run the ball. He hasn't wanted to run the ball himself until this week, and then he fumbled it when he did run it.
Yes, correct.
But did you see when he fumbled it, him trying to go back, he looks like he was still protecting the knees.
Yeah.
He didn't go all out to get that ball back because he still looks like he's favoring that knee. And I think he is scared of it right now. He is scared of that right knee.
And last season, that was all RG3. That wasn't. I don't think they. Well, no, Alfred Morris was good last year too. But I mean, it wasn't.
Right.
There wasn't anything great on that team though.
No, that team is not a great team. It was RG3 and the rest.
Yeah.
Now, what do you do as a coach? You're Mike Shanahan. You're seeing your quarterback who's supposed to be leading you to victories, and you know you have a capable backup sitting on the sidelines. Do you say, RG3, I need you to rest till you are 100% with that knee?
If RG3 can't be dynamic, then he's a mediocre pocket passer. And I would go with Kirk Cousins until he can be dynamic.
But the problem is you lose the locker room. If you bench RG3 at this point, and let's say Kirk Cousins comes in and doesn't do what you want him to do, you lose the locker room. And you know RG3 has already been butting heads with the Shanahans. If you're Dan Snyder, are you going to get rid of the coach? Or are you going to get rid of this quarterback that I feel by week 8 or 9 is going to be closer to the real RG3?
Yeah, but you can package that as saying we want him to play at full strength. You know, we don't want you to.
RG3 wants to play.
Yeah. Well, he wanted to play last year too, and look what that got him.
Well, you gave him too much.
But he doesn't seem to be sensible. He just wants to play the game. He wants to be out on the field. He doesn't seem sensible to me. He'll complain. He'll go to the media. The media is going to back him because they like the kid over the coach.
Sure. All right, and then obviously Jacksonville 0-3.
Yeah.
The stadiums are empty, like we talked about before. They're looking like to take the number 1 pick in the draft, which is right now a defensive player.
Sorry, Cleveland.
Jacksonville, what do they do? Do they make any dynamic trades? Do they say, forget it, throw in a towel? I mean, what do they do going forward? 0-3. They just lost to Seattle, I believe.
They got killed by Seattle.
What do they do?
Is Gabbard hurt?
What do they do?
Gabbard's hurt, but they say he'll be back
They
this
say he'll be
week.
back this week.
Okay, because must have been the Henny was not the answer.
I mean,
But Blaine Gabbard's not the answer.
so what do you do?
I think you do what Cleveland did and trade your best asset, which is Maurice Jones-Drew. Try to get something for him.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Trade him, because right now MGD cannot be happy, or NJD cannot be happy right now.
Right.
MGD, he's a beer.
He's a beer.
He's a beer.
All
But
right. So trade him out.
trade him out.
Get
Get
something,
something.
yeah,
Maybe get a top round pick.
You're
or get some players.
obviously rebuilding, so you might as well get some picks.
Might as well get some picks. All right.
And you know what? You're going to get the number 1 pick. I'm going to predict another team getting the number 1, Jacksonville. I think I'm safe on that one.
Well, I don't know. You also have Tampa Bay.
Maybe it's the
0-3 Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Whatever team you picked.
All right, Jacksonville, you might win this week. I don't know who you're playing, but you might win this week.
Tampa
All
Bay
right.
Buccaneers. What do we got there? Josh Freeman, coaches not seeing eye to eye. We're talking about people losing their jobs within a matter of weeks.
Freeman's going to lose his job.
So,
Yes.
what is the next step for Tampa Bay? Take the quarterback out, get a new quarterback in.
Who's their backup?
Glennon.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We talked about this.
You
Glennon.
probably can't take
You
Freeman
probably
out.
can't take Freeman out because it's Glennon.
But how do you know, though? You just put in Hoyer in Cleveland.
But this is
Third-string
one game for
quarterback.
Warrior. One.
Yeah, but in that one, he won.
Well, okay, so maybe Glennon will get 1 win, and then you'll be 1-15 with
Well,
Glennon.
it's
and then
better
you
than being
Glennon Freeman.
Right. What do you think?
We could always do the old Dan Reeves thing where you play Freeman for part of the game, then bring in Glennon, Freeman, Glennon, where he did with Sean Moore and Maddox.
Sure.
I trade Darrell Reeves for a quarterback.
Yeah, I would trade
Ship
the
him
road.
out. Yeah, because
There are some capable ones out
They
there.
just look beat up
Yeah.
as a team. They don't look like that. I feel that they don't look like they have the heart to go out there and win a game. It doesn't look like it to me.
I don't think
When
the
I
coach
watch
is-
that
I
team,
don't think the coach is inspiring.
I think right now when you start losing a lot of games, a hard coach, a coach that is very discipline oriented and tough, when you're 0-3, you don't want to listen to that guy. You want the players now are soft. They want to be patted on the back and hugged and
Everybody
told
wants
everything.
Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Everybody
But then
wants
sometimes
everybody
you do
wants
have a-
Dick Vermeil to cry with them.
yeah, but then sometimes you have a Tom Coughlin who gets you out of the 0-3 hole, 0-2, what have you,
But
and take
you look,
you to the Super Bowl.
he has veteran teams. Tampa Bay is not really a veteran team, and there's too many young players, and they want to be coddled. They want to be told everything's going to be all right.
Is this a Florida
and
thing? Is that what this is?
This is
Is this a Florida thing? I'm getting some animosity when it comes to Florida. We're talking about Miami. We talked about Jacksonville. Now Tampa Bay.
Florida's too hot. and
Randy's
humid.
not a fan.
It's too hot
Florida.
and humid.
We're
I
just
like
gonna
the
throw it out
Miami
right
Heat.
now. We'll just go there.
People go to Florida to die.
Yeah, they do. And
right.
we are getting old, all of us. So I mean,
Let's kick it over to Rolf. We're going to talk about some quarterback action. Now, what do you want to talk about when it comes to quarterbacks?
Let me pose this to you. I want to get you guys' take on this. I want to rate the future quarterbacks of the NFL.
Future quarterbacks in the
Talk
NFL.
about the young guys.
The young guys, not Peyton Manning. If
No,
you're
not-
over
not
your
those
30, you're out. You
If
might
you're
win
over-
it.
if you're
you
over
might win it.
26,
You
you're
might
out.
win a
We're
Super
talking-
Bowl or MVP, but you're out.
We're talking from the last 3 years of draft, the last 3 draft classes maybe.
Okay. So last couple of years.
I have, and Randy will disagree with me.
Just go ahead and tell
All right, I'm
everyone.
gonna give you my
tell
top
everyone.
5 right here.
All right, give them the top
I'll
5.
start with that. I've got Russell Wilson. This is my number 1.
That's wrong.
I'm not saying nothing yet.
Number 2 is Andrew Luck.
I will talk for you guys.
Number 3 is Cam Newton.
Cam Newton, what is going on with this list, Randy?
I don't know. I agree with him on that.
Number 4 is Colin Kaepernick, and number 5 is RGO and 3.
RGO and 3 is number 5. Okay.
What happens when he becomes RGO and 4?
The name no longer fits.
It no longer works.
It no longer works.
He's gonna need a son.
All right, you picked Russell Wilson, your top quarterback. Tell me why. What are the stat lines? What are the reasons besides that you'd like that the guy is short and he has a dynamic
Went
running
to Wisconsin.
He's from Wisconsin. Nothing bad comes from Wisconsin.
Okay.
Nothing bad. Ron Dane.
What I do like about him is he's very smart. He doesn't throw the ball away. He doesn't make stupid mistakes. He doesn't try. If there's nothing there, he's not going to lose you the game. We discussed this earlier. We said he's Trent Dilfer and Michael Vick rolled into one. He's a game manager, but he's also got some dynamic playability like Michael Vick. So it's a great combination, I think. He's the number 3 rated quarterback in the league so far at 109.6, where Andrew Luck, my number 2 quarterback, is number 12 with a 92.7.
Yes.
That's not very nice to say about Andrew Luck. I think.
Yes.
I think that's an overrated rating.
Okay.
I don't like your ratings
Right.
because
Why is Luck number 2? How does he beat out other guys like RG3?
Luck's number 1. He's got the list wrong. Luck is number 1.
No, we're talking about his list.
Robert Wilson is number 2.
then we'll get to the other real list. All right, number 2, Rolf has Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck, he's your prototypical quarterback, and he's got some athletic ability. He can make all the throws. I don't think he takes care of the ball as well as Russell Wilson does.
Okay.
I just think he'll force a little bit more than. If you look at the receivers on both teams, Russell Wilson, I think there's not much more there if it's any better in Seattle, but he doesn't make the turnovers he does. He just won't force it. So that's why and Andrew Luck feels like he needs to make a play.
You know you're going against a guy with Luck as a last name.
Yeah,
I mean already
and that's what he's thinking in his head.
He already has Luck on his
lucky.
side.
And then he throws an interception.
No, not last week.
It's going to be Luck that it goes through the defender's hands into my receiver's hands. No.
He has number 3, Cam Newton. Randy, why is
I
Cam
agree
Newton?
with that.
You like Cam Newton?
I think he's coming around.
Out of the quarterbacks, 3rd, Cam Newton.
Well, 3rd of the young quarterbacks. Out of real
That's what I'm saying.
quarterbacks, it'd be like number 10, 12, something.
Yeah, out of the young guys, it's Cam Newton.
Yeah,
It's
Cam
Cam
Newton.
Newton.
I think
Who would you have?
We're just going to keep going through you guys.
We're just going to
Because you sound like you disagree.
You sound like you want somebody else there at number 3.
Cam Newton has not proven anything yet on the football field as far as taking his team, leading his team to the playoffs. He has not done that yet.
But he wears a towel over his head and pouts really well.
That's what I'm saying. And he complains to the media. He has not done anything, which I don't think he will, comparatively to some of these other guys. Now we go to the next one after Cam Newton. We have Colin Kaepernick, which obviously he went to the Super Bowl last year. He looks really rough this year.
See, last year is what I think is because he caught people off guard. Like,
Okay.
They've had the offseason figured out, and like they're really making it hard for him.
So why didn't the Packers watch the film that everybody else has watched so
They just
far?
don't have the people to pull that off.
Maybe the Green Bay doesn't watch game film.
They might not. Maybe McCarthy just thinks that watching game film is a waste of time.
And then number 5, RG3. Now, obviously, the man does a great job last year. Takes his team, which was unexpected, the Redskins, to the playoffs and performs really well until obviously he gets his knee blown right out. Now, obviously, this year, 0-3 coming out. They're really struggling. But
I think
what are the upsides to RG3? If you went and had him on your team, what are the upsides to RG3?
I think he still has upside. He can still be a great quarterback. He's just not there mentally. Maybe not quite physically yet. His stats are kind of misleading because he's the number. He's got a better passer rating than Colin Kaepernick, but he's getting all of that against junk defenses at the end of the game when they're way down.
They did this last week.
Yeah, he's done every week playing against prevent defenses at the end of the games.
True.
So his stats aren't as good as they look on paper.
Yeah.
But when he gets healthy,
he
he will be RG3 again. When he gets healthy and gets
he gets healthy, you got to put him up there with your Andrew Luck, Russell Wilson dynamic.
I can't because I think he's going to get hurt again.
Yeah, I do too. I believe that he is more fragile than you look at Kaepernick and Newton and Luck. These are big guys that are built really well, and Russell Wilson does not take a hit.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson will not take a hit.
Unless he has.
And the other guys are huge. RG3 is a stick. And I mean, he's a really tiny, thin stick, and he just needs to get hit once, and he breaks. I think he's probably been a stick that's been soaked in water for a long time, very pliable, that break, once it dries out again.
That's what I think the problem is with RG3 is his dynamic part of his game is what makes him good, better than the other quarterbacks. But then that's what's also going to hurt him in the long run.
That's what's going to make him a
That's
7
why I
or
think
8 year quarterback, whereas some of these other guys will be in the league for 15 years.
Yeah, sure. Well, one question I have to our viewers is two questions. First of all, rate your top 5 quarterbacks when it comes to the young quarterbacks that have been drafted in the last 3 or 4 drafts. You got Russell Wilson in there, Andrew Luck, Colin Kaepernick, Cam Newton. You have a lot of names in there. See what you guys can think up. Maybe you have a different list than we do.
Maybe you like Geno Smith.
And number 2 question is, what team that's 0-3 now is going to make the playoffs? What team is going to come out of the gutter and make the playoffs? You guys let us know on YouTube. For Rolf, myself, Michael, and Randy, we're out. We're going to see you guys next week on Offsides, Week 4 of the NFL. See you then.